So, guys, day one of the online Olympiad 2021, that means 3 rounds, have just been completed, and India is currently on number two position, which is a bit surprising because everyone predicted to be on number one. Let's talk about it more in this video. This is the points table for Pool B after day one in Online Olympiad 2021. So after the day one, topping the pool B is Hungary. It was very unpredictable that Hungary would top their table because there were India and Azerbaijan, two of very strong teams in the world of chess being there. Hungary topped their table. They scored 3 out of 3. They beat very good teams like Azerbaijan, Shenzhen, China, and Slovenia. So this was a phenomenal performance by Hungary in day one. Let's see if it continues. So in the second position is our very own India. India had scored 2.5 out of 3 today after 3 rounds. India did pretty well, but not up to the mark. We all expected India to win all their 3 games, but India first won against Egypt convincingly, but then they drew against France, and third game they won against Sweden. So yeah, it was not a very bad day for India, but not the top day even. All of our players, all 12 players had the chance to play at least one game. So that was very good news that all players are in good form except Savita Shri, our junior board. Everyone had their accounts open in terms of the score. So now let's jump to the third place. Third place was shared by France and Moldova after day one. France had the score of 2 out of 3, which was a pretty decent score. Actually, France doesn't have Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Alireza Firouzja in their team. They are playing some other league, so they didn't make up to the league. So instead, in the men's section, they have Backrot and Maxime Lagrade. These two are also very strong GMs. Backrot is 2700 GM, and Lagrade also has a ELO of 2684. They are pretty strong, and they have women players are also very strong. They have Sebag Mari, who is a GM. She is also a part of the team. So France team is overall very strong too. And but the upset was Moldova being in number 3 position. As you can see, Azerbaijan is in number 5th, but Moldova is number 3. Moldova is the last seed of the tournament. They are the 10th seed, but then too they didn't lose any game today. Instead, they won one game and they drew 2 games. So this was a pretty good result for Moldova. They might not qualify, but they might take a lot of good and positive things from this tournament. So yes, now jumping to the fifth position is Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan has a brilliant and a very strong team, but they had a slight off day today. They started off with a brilliant win, but then they drew against Shenzhen, China, and they were defeated by Hungary. So they had a very bad off day. They have a very strong team which includes Taimur Rajabov, who is world number 10, Shakir Mohammad Yadav, who is world number 7 or something. They have pretty strong women too, because they have Gunay Mamadzada, who is a very strong player, woman player, and very renowned in women chess. But today they could not due to their class, and they just had a score of 1.5 out of 3, which is a very pathetic score for Azerbaijan. And if they want to qualify, they need to really show their mettle, and have to be ready to face difficult challenges in the future, because they are yet to face India, which is a very strong opponent. So as it is not that Azerbaijan is out from the tournament, but they have to do a very, very hard task to get in the top two. So yeah, these were the top five teams, and there are other five teams that are Slovenia, Sweden, Belarus, Shenzhen, China, and Egypt. These teams are do not contain the best players and are out of the race, and they cannot qualify now. So yeah, these five teams, I think so, not the five, and Moldova, I think so, will collapse. So yeah, Hungary, India, France, and Azerbaijan, two from these four are going to go through and play the elimination rounds, quarter-final, semi-final, and then final. So yeah, one of the points that I wanted to tell is about Shenzhen, China. So China is having two teams. The first one is the original China, which contains very strong players like Ding Lijian, Hoi Fan, and many more players. But this is Shenzhen, China. This is the other team of China. Uh, Frankly, I don't have any idea why they have sent two teams, but yeah, these have very strong, they don't have very strong players. They are in the open section, they have 2500 GMs. So yeah, you can predict that how strong they are going to be. They are not very strong. So yeah, now we are going to discuss that how what were the results of the day one. The round one first was between Shenzhen, China, and Hungary. In this, almost all the matches were drawn except two decisive results, where both Hungary won in the open board, in the second board, and in the in the junior section. In these two boards, Hungary striked. Now, in the round one, second was Azerbaijan and Sweden, where Azerbaijan was the clear favorite. Azerbaijan had top players playing. They had Timur Rajabov, who striked, and everyone won against Sweden except one in the board two they drew, so they won by a margin of 5.5, 1.5, which is huge. Then we come to third, that was Belarus and France. This was Belarus, I think so, played very well in this one. They managed to score 2.5 against a very strong French team. So yeah, kudos to Belarus for playing well, but France eventually won the game. So yeah, congrats to them. Then came India versus Egypt. In this, you can see it is 6-0, and India got 6 points, game points. But there was one twist. As you can see, this player named Adel Sara, who played against the Vaishali, are a women junior board. So what happened was, Adel Sara beat Vaishali first of all. So, but what happened was, during the game, her back camera got off, and either she didn't knew about it, or she was not able to turn it on, or something happened, and she was not able to turn it on. But she beat Vaishali. But the rules of the game said that if the camera is not on, then you could have been given a loss. So Adel Sara was given a loss, despite she won. So yeah, that was good news and good luck for India, that her back camera got off and India scored 6-0 in this. Now, the last result was not very important. Moldova and Slovenia played. It was a draw, but they were not very strong, so this does not matter anything. So yeah, not going to talk about this game a lot. So, when we saw the round one games, and after round one, India was leading because India had the most match point, that was 6. So, India was clearly leading the table at first. Then came round two. Round two started, then Hungary versus Slovenia. This was a pretty close match, as you can see, 3.5, 2.5. India won. So yeah, Slovenia gave a pretty tough fight to Hungary. Then came Egypt versus Moldova. Moldova won 3.5, 2.5, but not many discussions about this. Then, this was one of the very important matches, France versus India. Pretty much there was all the draws, all the decisive result came just on the juniors board. R Pragnananda and R Vaishali. Pragnananda lost and Vaishali won. Yeah, so in this game, at last there was Vidit Gujarati versus Yannick, whose game was going on. It was a night end game where Vidit was a pawn up. So yeah, it was pretty much winning for him at some point, but it was very difficult to get breakthrough. It was a type of a fortress. So yeah, Vidit drew his game. We in the camp we saw that Vidit was not very happy. It was a threefold repetition. It didn't came at the same time, but after some point, like in after some moves, there was that position. So he drew. He was in a lot of time pressure, so he couldn't figure out the win. That was a very bad news for India. Else, India would have won and have now topped the table because India has the most match points in this. Then came Sweden versus Belarus. Sweden won convincingly. Sweden has a pretty good team. It has Nils Grandelius, who we had witnessed with a very great performance in the Tata Steel. Then it was Shenzhen, China versus Azerbaijan. So this was another thing where India got lucky that Azerbaijan drew with Shenzhen, China. Else, as India drew with France, and if Azerbaijan would have won against Shenzhen, China, which they should have because they were the favorites, but they was not able to win and they drew their games. In the first two boards, as we can see that there were not the favorites like Mohammad Yadav and Rajabov were the two top boards didn't play. So yeah, I think so they might have underestimated China, but they drew with them, and that was another shocking result for Azerbaijan. So yeah, after this round two, Hungary lead the table because it had the most game points. That was 4 game points because it won 2 games, and India had 3 game points because India won 1 game where it got two, and it drew 1 game where it got one. So it was three, and Hungary had four. So Hungary was leading the table, and India was second because India had more match points than Azerbaijan. Because in the first round, Azerbaijan won five and half, 5.5 half. Sorry, my bad, and India won 6-0. So India was number two, and Azerbaijan was number three. So now this was the last round of the day, round three. It began by Azerbaijan versus Hungary. Azerbaijan lost to Hungary 4-2, which was a very shocking result because to beat Azerbaijan is always very difficult. Azerbaijan has one of the most stable teams in every section. They have very good team, but they beat them. Hungary was leading. That's right, but to beat Azerbaijan is always a feat. Then Belarus versus Shenzhen, China, and in a very close match, Belarus won it, which was another very upsetting result. Although this is second team of China, but there is a very good culture of chess in China, as you know, and to beat them is always a very good feeling. Then it was in India versus Sweden, where India won 4-2. That was another very good result. Hari Krishna Pentala, who was playing board one, beat Nils Grandelius. That was a very good result because Nils Grandelius is a very talented player. Adiban also won his game. Then the women boards drew, and Nihal Sarin won. But the junior board lost Savita Shri, and she was the only one who didn't open her account in in India, and rest of all the players, all 12 players played. So that was another feat for India, that all of the 12 players had a chance to play, and except Savita, all of them opened their account. Then Moldova drew with France. That was another result. Slovenia drew with Egypt. So yeah, two draws in this round of four teams. So yeah, that was pretty much it. And after that, we had seen the points table. So yeah, this is where India stands. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I think so. India, Hungary, Azerbaijan, and France, they four have a very good chance of qualifying. I think so. Hungary and India will be the ones who will be making it to the knockouts. I think so. India will be able to come to number one spot. What do you think? Do write in the comment section. Thank you all for watching this video. I will be uploading uh, daily roundups for India uh, in this uh, in this Olympiad. Thank you. Bye.
बनना चाहे